Hey everyone, welcome back to the Niche Pursuits podcast. I'm your host, Spencer Hawes from nichepursuits.com, and today I've got another guest interview. I've got Jae Jun with us, and he is a participant in Niche Site Project 4, and I just put out I think it's the second month report, and lots of people are reporting, and Jay stuck out because he made $889 in essentially the first month. And everybody else is basically making zero so far. And so I wanted to have Jay on the podcast and figure out how is he making so much money in month one of his website. So we're going to dive into that, figure out what he's doing, what's working. But before we do, Jay, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Spencer. Hey, everyone.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And we just connected offline here and found out we're both in the state of Washington. So it's great to have another Washingtonian. You're over on the other side of the state, but we're close enough that we can meet up at some point, I think.
Definitely. And I mean, Washington, I've been hearing some great stuff about a lot of startups coming out of Washington, a lot of entrepreneurs. So especially in the Seattle area. So it's a great community around here. I just got to get more involved.
Yep. Absolutely. It is a great community. Before we dive into the site that we're going to talk about, it's Gorilla ROI, and we'll dive into that in a second. I just want to get a little bit of your background, particularly your online business background. So why don't you give us an idea of what you've been doing the last few years, how you got started in online business?
Yeah, sure. So just a quick intro. I came to the US in 2005-06. I grew up in Australia. So I came here and I was working at Samsung as an engineer. And during that, I started to get into stock investing. And so I kept learning and I started to create a blog on investing and then expanded that into an online stock investing app. And around the same time, my wife also wanted to start something on the side as well. So she started selling on Amazon and created a wholesale business on the side as well. And that was around 2012.
Okay.
And so we got to the point where, fast forward a couple of years, both businesses are starting to grow and we're doing this on the side. So now the day job was becoming a roadblock to the overall growth of the business. And it got to the point where it definitely started supplementing the income and then overtook it. And back in 2014, we made the decision that, okay, I need to quit so that I can focus on the business. And so that's what we've been doing since then. And so that was in 2014, I quit. And from there, in between then, I've pretty much built and failed on many different e-commerce and niche sites. And so with this new project, I'm just continually utilizing like all those past lessons, all those hard-learned lessons in this new project and trying to take it into a different direction and not have this fail on me again.
Yeah. So you started a website about investing and created an app, and that did pretty well for a while, but it sounds like maybe that faded a little bit and the wholesaling business has done better?
I would say the investing side is actually been doing pretty good, but It got to the point where it's sort of stabilized. What I did, and I'll get to this as well, but one of the biggest lessons that I learned while running the Amazon side of the business and how it just completely overtook the growth of our investment app was that because Amazon already had the platform and the number of visitors and the traffic, it was much easier to market on Amazon, whereas on my investing app, since we have to do everything from beginning to the end, the marketing, I'm not a great marketer. I admit that right up front. And so it's sort of been flatlining and plateauing. And so the amount of time that I was now spending on the investing app, the return was much less as opposed to if I was spending the same hour on the wholesaling and the Amazon side. And so we've been adjusting priorities and sort of letting the investing app grow on its own steadily while now focusing on different avenues.
So if people want to check out the investing app and what you're doing there, are you comfortable sharing that with people?
Yeah, so just to give you a background of what I've been doing and so that you can sort of get better expectations. you can go to oldschoolvalue.com. And so I've been in the software side for a while now. I have my own lead main developer who's a rock star in terms of development. So that obviously helped with getting ROI off the ground much quicker than usual.
Right. Okay. Very good. So people can check that out at oldschoolvalue.com. And then you've also got this Amazon wholesaling business going as well. Can you give us an idea of the type of success that you're having there? Are you comfortable sharing any numbers, or you really don't have to, but any taste of success that you're willing to share with listeners?
Yeah, I mean, let me quickly go back in time a little bit. And
Sure.
So we pretty much came up with a product. It was extremely niche. Since this was back in 2012, there was barely any type of software to actually validate the type of product and whatnot. So it was more of a gut instinct. And as a last resort, our wholesaling business, it wasn't working at all. No stores were really grabbing onto it. We sold in a few stores, but it wasn't flying off the shelf. So as a last resort, we put it up onto Amazon. But because it had some unique features, that's when it started to grow, and we figured that, okay, there's something here.
Mm-hmm.
But as we started to do it, we hit a plateau where we really couldn't get much above, say, we got to a point where we were doing like about $10,000 a month.
Okay.
And then it slowly trickled up, and over the next year or two, up to like 20 to 30,000 a month. But then we were stuck there for like literally 6 months to a year. And no matter what we were doing, we couldn't get up there. And this was then I started getting more going into data, diving into analytics, looking up podcasts and stuff like what you were doing with your Amazon business, what other guys were doing on theirs, and started utilizing the strategy. And so we're now at the point where we actually broke 7 figures earlier in the year, and we've been growing at about 70 to 100% each year since then for the past 3-4 years. So
wow.
We went from pretty much losing money for the first 2-3 years to having a big plateau. And now we finally found what works for us and kicked it into gear.
Congrats. That's a significant size business.
Yeah, thank you.
And so you've got this great Amazon business going that you and your wife are running full time now. Why did you decide to join Niche Site Project 4?
So one, I wanted to try and redeem myself for my past failed niche sites. So I remember it was Niche Site Project 2 when I decided to do the first one. And back then I was looking into I built a site for infrared heaters and another one for organic and natural shampoo.
Okay.
And those got killed off in the Panda updates.
Yes.
And so because I was sort of treading in the gray to black hat, I was using PBNs.
Right.
I was trying to use some automated software to spam links and do all this, all the junk. And
right.
so it got to the point where I was just slowly starting to see traction, got to $100 a month, and then all of a sudden it's boom, zero traffic. And so since then, it's been bugging me. So I wanted to do something.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. You want the redemption, and Niche Site Project 4 is a perfect time to do that.
Right.
I know there's been a lot of people that have participated in multiple niche site projects like yourself, but there's a lot of new people that they literally have no online business background. So we have quite the diversity of participants. So if you're listening, I think that's important to point out that Jae has a lot of experience. He's built lots of sites, and he has a successful business in terms of, and has an online business background, where you or others participating in Niche Site Project 4, you, the listeners, may not have that same experience. So I think that's important to point out as well.
Right, exactly.
So let's talk about the site that you've created. You have been willing to share that publicly, and so that is GorillaROI.com. Why did you create that, and what does it do?
Yeah, so basically, it started out as a need to scratch my own itch. So with the Amazon business, and then with running our other online business and stuff, constantly short on time. And so I'm always trying to solve one of the three universal pain points, which is how do I save more time, or one, how do I save more time? Two, how do I save or generate more money? And three, how do I make this more convenient? And with so many things I'm trying to juggle, it's a constant challenge trying to get things out the door and just try to end the day on a high note. And so one of the things was I was on Amazon, and one of my daily things is to export all these reports. I would go in, check sales data. I'll copy and paste all these inventory numbers, status of this and that. And that was literally taking about 30 to 40 minutes of my day each time. Sometimes I'll have to do it 2 or 3 times.
Yep.
And it got to the point where I was just fed up, and I'm thinking, there has to be a better way. There's lots of software out there, and I've pretty much tried a lot of the Amazon software. But I just felt like I just needed something more simple. And because of my investing background, I'm a spreadsheet geek. I love spreadsheets. I have all these different templates that I've got accustomed to. And so I needed data to feed it into it. So that's pretty much where the idea came from. And it was on the back burner for a while. And just discussing it with my developer, trying to find a good time of when to do it. And it was sort of like just crawling along. It wasn't really, we never really committed to it. But then with you announcing Niche Site, it was more like, okay, hey, I think this is a good opportunity to try and, at least have joined the community, see what other people out there and try to get it out there.
Yeah, I think so. And people listening, if they don't know, the Amazon reporting in Seller Central it's not great. It's not user friendly. It's very difficult. Like you said, you have to go through and, export to CSV or whatever. You have to go to several different places to get the numbers you want. It is not user friendly, which is why there's so many third-party software tools to try and make that easier. So there's definitely a ripe need there for the type of data that Amazon makes difficult to find. So I'll be honest, I didn't even know that you could sell Google Sheet add-ons. I've never purchased one. I didn't know about that. So can you talk about that a little bit? What is a Google Sheet add-on? Why did you decide to make it a Google Sheet add-on?
Yeah, so it's actually Google has all these different platforms. There's the Google search that a lot of people you're familiar with, and what I got penalized with in the Panda update. There's also YouTube. There's Google. Google Plus is going to die now, so that's a shame. There's Google Sheets and the Google Store.
Right.
And I found that so pretty much Google ROI, what that does is it automatically imports Amazon seller data directly into my Google Sheets. And the reason why I chose that was because although I use a lot of Excel and Google Sheets and online spreadsheets, I just wanted the online versatility. And although technically you can't really sell a spreadsheet or a Google Sheet on Google, it's more like it's just all about how you implement it. So how you create that funnel. And what we did was we created a free version of our add-on, and then put some limitations on it. So it's pretty much like a freemium model where you can use it for free, and that's how you publish an add-on on Google. But at the same time, for added functionality, people will need to subscribe to unlock those features. And the reason why I also did that was, again, when I run Old School Value, I also provide to my subscribers through the website an investment spreadsheet version of what I have in the app. And that pretty much comes in an add-on form as well for Microsoft Excel. So it was more like a natural extension, just using my previous experience with like Excel spreadsheets and just being able to import data, that got me thinking that it would be much easier for me to do it with Amazon as opposed to just using a standard software.
So so this is the Google Chrome store essentially that you're selling on, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I am selling a Google Chrome extension for a different business. And so I am familiar with the Google Chrome store, but I just didn't realize the versatility with, you can. So this isn't a Chrome extension, right? This really is just a Google Sheet add-on. It's something different slightly.
Yeah, so
right.
There's a Chrome extension like what you did and what you shared previously.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Google Sheets extensions. There's Google Docs extensions. There's Google the PowerPoints extensions. So any product that Google offers, you can create an add-on to that product just to improve productivity, to solve all these different needs, because there's always going to be some sort of feature that's either missing or there's going to be a better way to integrate it into whatever you need to do.
That's really good information. And for an entrepreneur like me, that gets my wheels turning. It's like, there's a lot of opportunity here. There's so many different things that you could create and do. And so I'll leave that for the listeners to do. I've got enough going on, I think, to create anything, but lots of opportunity there. And so you've got the developer, you've decided to create a Google Sheets add-on. And so you're doing the freemium model where it's listed for free. And then maybe walk us through that funnel a little bit. So they download it, they're using it for free. Where does the pitch come exactly?
Yeah, so that's one of the hard points, because once you've installed the add-on, it's sort of hard to get them to come to your website because everything is contained within Google Sheets. Mm-hmm. So what we did was, once people install the add-on and they've connected it, they can use the add-on for free, unlimited, for any 3 of their SKUs that they sell on Amazon. So they could look up sales data, how much they've sold within any period, etc. But then when they want to add more than 3, or when they want to track the rest of their account, that's when they'll need to sign up.
And so they get a notification right there on their, when they try to add a 4th, they'll get a notification saying it's time to upgrade.
Somewhat. Within the add-on, Google also, you'll find this interesting, is that there's a lot of flexibility within how you can implement things inside either a Chrome extension or Google Sheets add-on and things like that. So we've got sidebar pop-ups where you can click on a menu, a sidebar will pop up giving you instructions on this and that. And we've pretty much extended that to become sort of like a marketing banner, where if they want to subscribe, we'll display the information on a sidebar within Google Sheets and give them the choice of whether they want to upgrade or not, and then redirect them back to our site.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. Very good. So so we've got this, and correct me, or I'll let you show the numbers. So in the very first month, or in the last month of September, share the numbers. How much money did you make? How many users do you have? That sort of thing.
Yep. So in September, we made $889, and the way we did that was not purely through the add-on. Looking at the overall picture, what I wanted to provide was a package as opposed to just a one-time or one product offering. And one of the extension, the product that I also made in the meantime was, I know that people love spreadsheets. I know that people don't have the time to either make really nice looking, easy to use spreadsheets, but I already had a folder full of them. So I cleaned up and I created these templates, calculators, and I combined that into a package for what I call a pro spreadsheet suite, where people pay a one-time payment of currently $99, and they will get access to the entire suite of spreadsheets that I have, as well as all the future ones that I'll be releasing as well. So pretty much what people do when they sell WordPress themes, instead of just selling one theme, they'll have like a package price and let you download as many as you want.
Right.
And so because of that, I was able to garner some extra sales on top of the add-on. And so that's what made up the 889. So with that, I've probably got about 17 customers at the moment, and trying to grow that through email marketing. The sessions are pretty low. And because I haven't been doing any blog articles or posting onto the website at all the sessions and the traffic has been coming directly from the Google store. So in terms of SEO, there's absolutely none.
Right.
keyword volume search. There's for my main keywords, and this was one of the hard things. I have zero volume pretty much on the keywords that I need to get listed for. And so that was one of the challenges of deciding, how do I market this? Because with no volume, there's no point in me trying to publish articles and get it listed in the search engines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is difficult, right? You have to start targeting perhaps things that are more broadly, related to Amazon sellers. Eventually, if you develop a full blog, right, you're going to just want to attract anybody selling on Amazon that might potentially use your spreadsheets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So how did you drive initial interest in Guerrilla ROI? What were you doing to get people to either go to to your website or to the Chrome store?
Yeah, so good question. So a while back, I read a book called Traction. It's a very easy to read book, and it basically goes through all like the marketing stuff. It was written by the founder of DuckDuckGo, the search engine, and he has a very easy to follow framework of all these different strategies that you can apply. And one of them that stood out to me that I really wanted to do more than I was doing was engineering as marketing. And that's pretty much offering like free tools, cheat sheets, spreadsheets, and then getting backlinks via that way. Mm-hmm. And so one of my things is I want to be able to work backwards instead of because it's much easier for me and much clearer to see the direction that I need to go when I start working in reverse. And so with that in mind, I quickly built a landing page with just any drag and drop software. Connected the email form up to Google Sheets. Didn't sign up for any email software or anything because I just wanted to see and validate if this idea was worth pursuing. Mm-hmm. And then I went into the Amazon forum. I was lucky enough that one of my posts that I did, because you're not supposed to self-promote or put up external links on Amazon.
Right.
But luckily, because maybe it was I was trying to help somebody and at least provide some value, that it stayed there. But anyways, that one link drove them back to the landing page, and I slowly started to see a trickle of email people signing up.
Okay.
And I also recall a while back when you and Jake posted about a Reddit strategy where you posted a post on Reddit about your game software. And so I took that exact play from you guys and did the same thing where I said, hey, I'm doing this and this on Amazon. This is what I'm sort of having problems with. Is anybody else out there with me? And that's started to garner some interest as well.
Cool.
And based on those simple few posts, I started to slowly build up that email list, and it gave me enough confidence to figure that okay, I should go with this, even though the keyword volume was showing absolutely nil.
Right. So you got people onto your email list. They went to your website, to your landing page, got them on the email list. What did you do then? Did you just send out one sort of large email blast? You said you didn't have an autoresponder, so I assume you sort of waited until some point and then sent out a big email saying, "Hey, go." Did you send them to the Google store, or did you send them back to your landing page, where they could actually purchase?
Yeah, so with the email, I wanted to keep them warm.
Okay.
So I didn't have an email service, but I did have my domain. And so I was just sending, and because the email was small enough, the list was small enough that I was just sending it via BCC in Outlook.
Right.
And
okay.
I was just giving small, quick updates about what the plan was, and then just trying to get people excited about it,
right.
Trying to keep them up to date and what's going on. And so it took about 2 or 3 months of just maybe weekly to monthly small updates, just keep people, letting them know that I was still around.
Right.
When everything was launched and done, I always wanted them to go back to the site as opposed to directly to the Chrome store.
Right.
So wherever possible, I try never to direct them to the Chrome store, always through the website. And then if they want, they can go to the Chrome store. But I just want the funnel I have a clearly defined funnel where I want them to go through the website, go through all the content that I've provided them in terms of like the pitch and everything, and make up their mind.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, you mentioned how many paying customers. I think it was 17, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
How have sales gone in October so far? We're about a week and a half in.
Okay, so October actually is pretty good because we got our first annual payment from our most expensive plan.
Okay.
So from October 1, October 9, right now we are at gross sales of 873, but after a couple of refunds, we're at 832. So it looks like this month will be better than last month.
That's excellent.
Thank you. It's just a matter of just continuing to gain more traction and then trying to push out more of the marketing materials.
Mm-hmm.
And in your previous question, you asked whether I was sending out any sales emails or long pitch to people.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't sent any specific sales email to them. I've sort of been held back because I'm trying to get this set up, the automated email campaign and everything. And I'm trying to create a sequence where I can lead them into the sales as opposed to just sending a big one-off offer from nowhere.
Right.
So I'm at a stage where this month I'm trying to work on actually setting that up. So we'll see how that goes and I'll report back.
No, that sounds good. I think that would be great to get that as automated as possible, of course. But what is the long-term strategy for the business in terms of how do you plan to get more people coming to your website and, finding out about you? I would imagine that you can only do so much posting on Reddit and Amazon Seller Central forums, right? So what's the plan?
Yeah, so I've already pretty much stopped posting on Reddit and on the Amazon forums, just providing value where I can, but no self-promotions. But my long-term plan is, as opposed to after being burned with the Google updates, and like you, I believe that SEO and just building up authority for the site is a more of a holistic approach as opposed to just getting links. And one of the things I want to do is obviously try and get people to link back via the free tools that we can provide. So we'll be trying to outline and plan for creating, say, a free tool for, like, if I was doing a niche site for like a cooking website, I would do something like a recipe generator or a label generator or something that generates something because people love those.
Right.
Could also do spreadsheets or documents, templates, etc., where people really find value in actually getting something tangible. And I found that my conversion rates always is so much higher when that's on offer as an opt-in. And so I obviously want to create more of those goodies to build the email list on one. That's one direction. The other direction is obviously there's a lot of people in the Amazon space. So I'm trying to reach out to more people, let them use it, see what they think, get feedback, and hopefully get some brand ambassadors for the tool itself, and then grow it in that direction.
Yeah, I think that's a great plan. I mean, the long-term strategy, I think you're absolutely spot on. It's all about building that audience and those people that have interest in what you're doing. So Amazon sellers, how do you get in front of that audience? And your plan is to provide free tools, hopefully getting other people to mention you and link to you and drive traffic to your site. And once you get those people on your email list, then hopefully your automated series does its job. Enough of those people are interested to actually purchase your product. So I think it's great. I love that you've been able to do this, get this out quickly. I know that most people building a site for Niche Site Project 4 are not building a software tool or any tool for that matter. They're just doing straight content, affiliate websites. So it may take the rest of us a little bit more time to get the ball rolling and get some Google love, get some traffic from Google. But I love seeing what you're doing, being an entrepreneur and coming up with a good solution for your particular audience. So is there anything else that you'd like to add in terms of either, what your plans are for Guerrilla ROI or just anything else that you've learned along the way that you'd like to share with listeners here today?
Yeah, sure. So maybe to sum up as a final point is rather than me trusting my own abilities to grow traffic, there's still like Google stores, whether it be on the Chrome, Docs, PowerPoint, or the Sheets. It's not very optimized, and there's much less competition. So it's quite easy to get listed. And because it's on the Google domain, when somebody actually types it in, it lists very highly immediately in the search engine, as opposed to waiting for things to mature and get listed. So that's one of the things where I wanted to leverage, just going off what Amazon has done, where they self-promote their things constantly and jump over people. So I believe that Google also has the same interest at heart. Mm-hmm. And I think if you just go back to what you've always said, like building brand, and think of that, have that in mind when you're building your niche site, I think it works much better. So with my thing, although there's no one central theme at the moment, I've already got plans to where I've launched my add-on. I can expand on that, create more advanced features. I've also got a package spreadsheet for small business people. I'm also in the works preparing for, say, other docs and legal templates and things like that will help Amazon sellers and other small businesses. And just overall think about a bigger, broader strategy that you can actually grow upon and build a big, strong audience base off.
Yeah, I think those are some great tips, some great advice for people listening in. Even if they're not building a tool or, a spreadsheet, I think there's a lot of tips here that people can take away, hopefully, for their own niche site, whether that's, building a brand, really focusing in on who is your audience and where can you tap into that audience and what can you offer them, even if it's just, a free product or something to generate interest or buzz around your particular brand. I think there's a lot of good tips there. So, Jay, I appreciate you coming on the Niche Pursuits podcast. Where's the best place for people to go if they want to check out what you're doing? Should they just head over to GorillaROI.com, or is there any other place?
Yeah, you can just go to GorillaROI.com, and then you can just browse around and go through the page, click this and that, and just see how I've built and laid things out. And hopefully that will give you an idea of the things needed in your niche website, maybe, and then hopefully give you some ideas that way.
Perfect. So everyone head over to GorillaROI.com. Jay, thank you so much for the interview. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thanks, Spencer. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And thank you, everybody,